I'll watch some TV. It'll help me to relax!
Welcome back to the Ren and Stimpy recap. As we are now done with the retrospectives for Season 1, we will now be doing the Season 2 wrap-up videos, that being this video and then the episode ranking in 2 weeks. While we are doing these videos, we will be kicking off the Season 3 retrospectives, on Wednesdays of course, but today it's time to do a little analysis on the second season of Ren and Stimpy.
And with these hands, I hold the fate of millions.
Just quickly before we get started, I'm gonna do a one-time thing and ask y'all to subscribe to the channel. 80% of y'all ain't subscribed, and if you like Ren and Stimpy, that's all we talk about on this channel. Thank you all, I really appreciate all of you. So we will structure this video the same way as the Season 1 analysis, just because it's easier. So we'll start with the animation. The animation in Season 2 was not as split up as in Season 1. From what I've read, it was just 2 studios that did the animation of this season. One of them being Carbuncle Cartoons, which was the studio that did multiple Season 1 episodes, such as Space Madness and Stimpy's Invention. But the majority of the Season 2 episodes were animated by Rough Draft, which was, interestingly enough, a studio set up in Korea just for Ren and Stimpy. Even though Carbuncle Cartoons was the studio that was seen as the superior one for animating Ren and Stimpy, honestly, looking at the list of which studio did which episodes, there's gems from both the studios. While Carbuncle had the bangers like Man's Best Friend and Sven Hoek, Rough Draft did In the Army and Stimpy's Fan Club. Much like Season 1, Season 2 is very inconsistent with its animation, which is no surprise since it was complete chaos at the studios at this time. Some episodes have award-worthy animation, while some end up on the uglier side. The positives definitely outweighs the negatives, and episodes like Stimpy's Fan Club and Out West have excellent animation that really elevates the episodes. The detailed shots, which was one of my favorite things about Season 1, are still present in Season 2, but more often than not are these replaced with gross-up close-up, which I'm not as big a fan of. Many of these are very artistic and impressive, but some of them just end up being, those shots from Nurse Stimpy basically. But we still get great detailed shots with no grossness factor, so all in all, it's still pretty great. Character-wise, Ren and Stimpy naturally get more fleshed out with the second season. Their dynamic is amazing, and we see it taken to the extreme with episodes like Sven Hoek and Stimpy's Fan Club, where Ren's insanity is contrasted with Stimpy's stupidness and caringness, respectively. They are also still just a great comedic duo that plays off each other very naturally.
No! Yeah!
But something I noticed this season is that pretty often a third character will have the spotlight while Ren and Stimpy take a back seat. This has very mixed results. We do have Man's Best Friend, which pulls this off very well, with George Liquor having the main role. And we also have Out West, where the 2 sheriffs do a good performance as main characters in the episode. But then we have Powder Toast Man, A Visit to Anthony, and to an extent Dog Show, where I just want our main characters to, do something. In these 3 episodes, while being in it, Ren and Stimpy barely talk, which is just such a waste, and makes me just want the episode to be over so I can watch, Ren and Stimpy. This is something new in Season 2, which is not a welcome addition in my opinion. I think Ren and Stimpy are such strong characters that it's a shame when the focus is put on lesser characters for entire episodes. The comedy in Season 2 is pretty strong. I would say very strong, but it is an inconsistent season, comedy-wise. There are episodes with multiple hilarious jokes and lines, and then there are ones that aren't really funny at all. Something we at least can count on almost every episode having is good faces. More often than not with Season 2, it's the faces that makes me laugh. We also have great lines, but compared to Season 1, I think good facial expressions is something they're going for more in this season. Now, while I think they could do both, the faces are actually funny and very impressive. I said I was gonna make a future video about the best faces in the show, but I honestly could probably make separate ones for character and season, because there are just so many of them. And compared to something like modern SpongeBob, that's actually positive, because there's actual other substance besides the faces themselves. A good example of the faces and expressions being utilized perfectly is the night scene in Stimpy's fan club. The very deranged faces here help perfectly to create an atmosphere and a feeling. The faces don't always have to be
Look at the funny face!
I would argue the best uses of weird expressions is in more intense scenes. Another good one is the scene of the yak going insane in Royal Canadian Kilted Yaksman. This scene showcases some of the best and most out there expressions in the show, which is perfect since the scene is meant to showcase total insanity.
Come to your senses, man!
Season 2 delivered with the slapstick. We had entire episodes which pretty much only that. Mad Dog Hoek specifically showcased that they still know how to make it funny. But I like the slapstick in this season the most when it's a healthy mix between it and dialogue jokes or the type of crazy humor that the show does so well. I think Fake Dad is a good example of that, where not only do we get great lines such as
Be nice to the product of your loins. My fake loins!
but also hilarious slapstick moments. Much of the season leans towards either sides though, so there's sadly not that many episodes that pulls off more than one style of comedy. While there's not much variety comedy-wise, there's also not much variety story-wise. These videos are not intended to be a direct comparison to the previous season, but I gotta mention that Season 1 had 3 different themes, storybook, space and untamed world, which made up half the season with these themed episodes. Season 2 follows up with no space episodes, no storybook episodes, and no untamed world. We do get a couple of themed episodes, but with the season twice the length, you'd expect to have more than 2. The ones we do get is Out West, and I guess Powdered Toastman and Royal Canadian Kilted Yaksman. It's not like the rest of the season is just Ren and Stimpy being in the house. Matter of fact, I would have liked more episodes like that. Although Ren's Toothache might make a case that it's probably good that we don't have many episodes in the house. Most of the stories in Season 2 are at their core Ren and Stimpy meets a new character. It's actually a very common theme this season, very rarely do we get an episode with only Ren and Stimpy. That being said, again, Ren's Toothache, so yeah. The stories are very varied when it comes to the tone though. Episodes in Season 2 range from really dark stories like Stimpy's Fan Club and Man's Best Friend, to goofier stories like Mad Dog Hoek and Monkey See, Monkey Don't. The pacing is also varied. Slow episodes like Out West and Son of Stimpy contrast with faster stories like Rubber Nipple Salesman and Powdered Toastman. I was thinking about doing a comparison with Season 1 and Season 2, but I think we're gonna save that for later, so we can compare Seasons 1, 2 and 3, or even wait even later and compare all 5. But to do that, we have to get through Season 3, so join me next week where we are taking a look at To Salve or To Salve Not.
Goodbye, folks.